What's going on, guys, and welcome to my review of the Nitecore MH27uv. Now this is a newer version of the MH27, and one of the main differences from this one and from the UV and the original one is that this one includes a small UV LED. So as you can see, you've got that main Cree LED in the center, and then you've got those three little LEDs, and one of them is the UV light. So this is an 18650 battery light, and that means that it's a pretty good EDC, everyday carry, and a decent light to do fairly light work. I know a lot of people who use this in the security industry and the security domain because it's it's not a light that's too big, but it still does have some decent capabilities. As you can see, the bezel here has these little ridges that allows you to use this as a self-defense weapon, and if you couple that with the strobe mode, this can be a truly useful light. Now it comes with an optional pocket clip, which I decided to just keep on there. There we go, and that clips right in there. And you've also got this carry ridge, so if you want to hold this with like a gun, you could do that should you wish to do that. As you can see, the head here has a fairly decent reflector, and that means that this light is going to have a lot of throw. And what that really means is, even with a fairly small light like this, you're going to be able to shine the light really far. And the maximum output on this is 1000 lumens, so that means that this light is going to be plenty bright. Now it can tail stand. What that means is it can stand up on its bottom. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. But it's not all that stable. So most of the time you'll either have it like that, or you'll just leave it. It does come with a holster, which I'll try not to make too much noise for the camera. All right, and the holster is all right. Honestly, my main issue with it is that it's got hook and loop Velcro, and so for somebody who's working in quiet environments like concerts, for security, whatever, if it's a quiet concert, I mean, yeah. If it's a quieter environment, this light is the holster is all right. You got to put in the holster with the tail first. That's the only way it's gonna fit, and it sort of blocks halfway through. So then you can secure it again, and you've got two options to secure it to your belt. You can either secure it through this unopenable back loop, or you got hook and loop Velcro again. So if you need to, attach it to a backpack or whatever, you could do that like that. And you've also got this little D-ring that is made of metal, so it's pretty decent quality. If you want to attach it to like a molly strap or whatever. Let's take a look at the light itself now. The light is the MH is the hybrid series from Nitecore, and what that means is it is USB rechargeable. So if you flip open this cap, you've got that little micro USB port, and it does come with a cable that's fairly good quality. The one note about that is it's got to be an 18650 battery for it to recharge, and one of the small technical aspects is you've got to actually have this light on when you're recharging it. So in terms of buttons, you've got the tail button, tail cap, and a light press will turn the light on in whatever mode was last, so this does have memory, and a hard D press will turn it on permanently. You've got plus and minus buttons here on the head of the light, and they allow you to control the modes. So as you can see, currently we're in the lowest 1 lumen night mode. We can go down into the blue LED, and as you can see, that looks fairly nice. Now this is used apparently for hunters who need to track blood on the ground. And, obviously it's not something I have much use for, but it can be pretty useful. The red LED, and that's great for low light and hiking conditions. I've already taken this out a few times, and the red LED is decent. In my opinion, it lights up the trail better than the 1 lumen light, and it reduces your night vision less. Finally, you've got the UV light, which you can see very poorly there, but there it is. I don't know if you can even see it. I can see it on my hand. Yeah, there you go. And that's useful for things like money or whatever. If, personally I use it to check IDs at events because most IDs, most driver's license will have some amount of UV ink, and it's a fun party trick to show your friends, but aside from that, there isn't that much use to it. We're back on the 1 lumen moonlight mode. As you can see, the throw, even on this in daylight, I mean, this is studio lighting, is pretty good. And then we've got the different modes, and obviously here the camera is going to start to freak out a little bit, but that's the 1000 lumens, and as you can see, it makes even studio light look pretty dark. So it's a useful mode. If you want to access what's known as the special modes, you can do that by pressing both the plus and the minus button. It's taken me some practice, but sometimes I can do that with one finger, so we'll see if that works. Yeah, there we go. And there's the strobe. And the strobe is, it messes up the camera. It's hard to see. Let's try and switch that off. Let's put that in beacon mode. There we go. Or let's just turn it off for now. The strobe is, it won't show up well in camera, but the rhythm or the pace, I don't know how to say it, but the speed of the strobe is really fast, and it's perfect for disorientation. So if you need to use this as a sort of personal defense flashlight in a time where you don't have access to a weapon or whatever, that could be useful. And it's useful to signal people. It is pretty blinding, so there's that, but it's pretty decent to keep in mind. The let's see, what is that in? That's in, okay. So the next special mode is this sort of police LED, and it flashes blue and red. I personally don't see what use you could have for this, but it's fun. It's fun to play with. It's fun to have. I don't use it personally, but I could see why some people might want it. And yeah, that's the lowest. Oh, and then you've got the single blue flashing and single red flashing, should you need those. Again, I don't need those. That's strobe. And then we've got beacon. Now that the light can last absolutely hours in this mode, and it does a very bright, a 1000 lumen flash. Again, it doesn't show up well in camera because of the frame rate or whatever, but that's pretty insane. So if you needed to signal somebody and you need to leave this on for hours, you could just set it up in this mode and sit it down somewhere. And the next is the SOS. Pretty basic strobe feature, but it's nice to have available to you. So let's go ahead and put it back in normal mode. There we go, normal, and perfect, 1 lumen. Let's turn it off. And as you can see, that is great quality button. I mean, it's hard to explain, but the springiness of this button feels awesome. This light does come apart in 3 parts. You've got the tail, which unscrews to reveal the battery. And one note is none of the Nitecore flashlights come with included batteries, so you will need to purchase a battery. I purchased the Nitecore 18650 3400 milliamp battery, the battery that's recommended to go with this. You can purchase a different one. Personally, I'd recommend getting this one just because it's the Nitecore recommended one. It's probably built for this product specifically. And then you've got also the tail, the head which unscrews, which as you can see, I won't do it completely, but let's go ahead and do it completely. There we go. So there isn't much to it. If you need to change some parts, whatever, you do have access to parts of it. What is nice about this light is it is water resistant down to 2 meters, and that means I doubt you're gonna go swimming with this, but it does mean that if you're getting rained on pretty hard, this light will still have no problem helping you out, and it is really a sturdy light. So this light is a little bit more expensive than other lights in this category. You've got the ThruNite TC12, which is also rechargeable, or the TN12, which is the non-rechargeable version. But in my opinion, this light is superior because it does have that UV functionality. Now, not everybody needs it. I use it for work, and I find it fun to use in general. But maybe you don't want to pay as much. You can get the regular MH27. But in my opinion, the big advantage of these lights compared to the other ThruNites is that they do have that greater throw and those extra functionalities in terms of the colored LEDs. So all I have to say is good things about this light. It's resistant to everything. You can throw it on the ground, it'll take a beating, but it's also a high quality, highly reliant light. So you know, if you're looking for a new EDC or a sort of general purpose light, then this is the one to get, in my opinion. And yeah, if you enjoy this content, feel free to give us a subscribe. I'm going to be coming out with lots more content in the coming days with new gear reviews. Yeah, so hopefully give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks, guys. See ya.